it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, February 28th. So obviously today is the last day of February, which is going to bring a little bit of an intensity to us to wrap up the life lessons, wrap up this chapter that of course February was meant to teach us. If you need a refresher on what that actually is and what that was supposed to be, go ahead, listen to the February energy forecast, the intro that I put out at the beginning of February for a little bit of a review on what it is that this month was supposed to teach us. So we have the moon moving out of this Gemini energy late evening, and we will be locking into Cancer energy. Of course, the moon rules over Cancer energy, so we definitely are going to be feeling that jolt of intensity. But we do get the majority of the waking hours of the day still in this Gemini energy. So our mental planes are still spinning. We're still trying to get our heart and our head on the same page. We are still digging into asking the right questions, looking for the right answers, and we're looking outside of ourselves for mental stimulation. When the moon goes void, of course, at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course, things are going to get a little bit shaky, a little bit uncertain, if you will. And then we lock into that Cancer energy at 9:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's where we go from the headspace all the way down into the feels. We typically speaking become a little bit more introverted. We kind of clam up. We're a little bit passive aggressive, a little bit defensive in our energies, in our responses to other people. We just kind of want to stick to home, what is comfortable, what is old, tried, tested, and true and familiar. And of course, we tend to get sucked into reflecting back and romanticizing the past in this Cancer energy. The fact that we're in Pisces season, when the moon moves into a water sign such as Cancer, we're definitely going to double down on all the feels. There are 11 different aspects here today. 10 of them involve the moon. The moon will be semi-squaring the true node, of course, the soul path, the mission, the purpose that we need to kind of get in alignment with. The semi-square is a tension point, meaning we are very confused on what it is that we should be doing in order to move forward. We just had this first quarter moon in Gemini pop off early yesterday morning, which means that we are sorting things out. We are reaching a point where we do have to decide, we do have to align with a choice, we do have to kind of create a commitment to a path, to a direction. But right now, the steps are not clear. The moon bumps into Venus. Venus, of course, in Aries energy. Lucky for us, this is a harmonious aspect, which means that we're really starting to push the boundaries in our head space and in our heart space, trying to figure out what it is that we want, we need, we desire. Of course, most of that work is by realizing what it is that we're lacking, what it is that we don't have enough of, especially where stability, safety, security comes into the realm. And we're taking a good look at who and what makes us happy and who and what doesn't. And from that, really zooming in and defining what it is that we want to create from here. The moon does bump into Pluto, the great transformer himself, in a very positive way that does kind of suggest that we had a light bulb moment. Something kind of flickered. We made sense of something that didn't make sense before. We had an epiphany. We had an aha moment that will essentially not only change our perception and our understanding of the events gone by, but change the emotional position that we currently have, not only relating to the past, but altering how it is that we are going to transform, to change, to boss up, to take control back in the present moment, and of course, in our future. The moon bumps into Jupiter in a very positive way. This is about really seeing where it is that we're growing, where it is that we're healing, where it is that we're plucking out the silver linings, where it is that we're hopping ourselves up, firing ourselves up, preparing ourselves to make a choice, to make a decision, to actually move forward in the pursuit of happiness, and of course, in the pursuit of bringing some of our dreams, our desires, our visions, our goals to life. The moon is going to square off with Neptune, who of course is in its place of power in Pisces energy. This square off doesn't feel good. It's a tension point. It's a point of conflict. And basically it's between our intellect and our intuition. We don't know which one to trust. We don't know which one to follow. We don't know which one to lean into. Of course, the goal here is to balance out our logical, practical intellect with the instinctual, intuitive insights that we are kind of gaining when we align with our higher higher self, but we're definitely going to have a battle between our higher self and our ego self in really kind of allowing one of them to lead. The moon is going to bump into Chiron in a very positive way very shortly after, which does kind of suggest that this tension, this conflict point is going to illuminate for us where it is that we can achieve balance between blending our intellect and our intuition together. And in doing so, really seeing where it is that not only we're moving past certain mental and emotional blockages, but we're actually pushing ourselves into a state of healing, into a state of wholeness, into a state of surety, especially who it is that we now are, who it is that we have been, who it is that we are no longer, who it is that we currently are, and who it is that we desire to be. There's a lot of, I'm going to say, identity healing coming with this particular aspect. The moon is going to trine Mercury. Mercury, of course, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information and communication. In this Aquarian energy, the highest form of our intellect, while the moon, of course, our heart space, is in Gemini energy, an air energy that rules over the lower level intellect. So this is where we get our trine. We get some air on air action here. And it does feel like our heart and our head, they are kind of getting in alignment. We are in agreement. We are adding the logical, practical intellect of this Gemini energy to our emotional realm. And we are in our mental plane really pushing the boundaries on seeing where it is that we can still break through some limiting beliefs that we have about what is possible for us. The moon goes ahead, trines Saturn in Aquarian energy as well. This is air on air action, and lucky for us, this is a positive interaction, which means that negative Nancy and Betty the bully, they ain't coming out to play. What we're doing here is we're bossing up. We're actually feeling confident. We're feeling like we have the abilities to do whatever is possible in order to move forward and build a new reality for ourselves. And this is the last aspect that the moon is actually going to make before going void, of course. And so we are very much seeing where the two paths, the two choices, the two decisions have had us divided in the past, where it is that we have been hesitant to jump into new roles and responsibilities, where it is that we have been blocking ourselves in our mental plane and emotionally with some of these limiting beliefs and negative thoughts. And now we are kind of realizing where it is that we are rising to the challenge. The moon is going to bump into Pluto, once void, of course. And so again, there's a lot of shakiness, a lot of uncertainty. We're very unstable in our thoughts and our emotions. And this is a prime opportunity for us to kind of see where it is that the negative narrative, the not so nice thoughts and feelings, where the shakiness and the instability in our emotions and our thoughts are going to illuminate for us where it is that we don't feel like we're in control, where we don't feel like we're confident enough to actually move forward. And of course, Pluto, the great transformer himself, he just wants us to boss up and take control over it and realize where it is that we can change our narrative, we can flip the script, we can change our emotions and frequency and vibration. We just have to kind of recognize where it is that we are in power, we are in control, where we do need to take all of the power back from all of the people that we gave our power away to, where it is that we have to recognize that we are the writer, the director, the producer, the star of the movie that is us. And although it doesn't feel very good, because again, the moon is void, so we're not feeling very sure or stable about much, pay attention to what is coming up in your emotions and your thoughts, because Pluto's here in order to illuminate that darkness and to really empower you to turn it into something light. Mercury is going to semi-square Jupiter, and this is taking place like 4 minutes before we actually lock into the moon moving into Cancer energy. So what we got going on here, first of all, Mercury is the lower level intellect ruling over information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. In this Aquarian energy, the observer. We are kind of looking at the big picture on what is possible for us, very much in a futuristic vision, because of course we need that great grand vision in order to inspire us and motivate us to make some changes. Jupiter, of course, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance. He is the spiritual wisdom that we've accumulated through the tough love life lessons. He is in Aries energy, all fired up, ready to put ourselves out there, ready to create new opportunities for ourselves. But here's the thing. Jupiter turns the volume all the way up and magnifies whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And these two coming together in this way is definitely going to alter and confuse our understanding and our perceptions. This is definitely going to create a blockage in our mental plane, that is going to prevent us from truly making a decision, truly aligning with the direction, truly making the choice. And one of the issues that can come up here is that we tend to focus on the positives, which doesn't sound like a bad thing, except for the fact that we over-exaggerate the positives and therefore create a delusion and set ourselves up for disappointment. We are at this point overwhelmed with information, with emotion, with thought, with choices, with decisions. And there is this intensity, this impulse, if you will, to just pull the trigger and move forward. That's where that Aries energy kicks in, where Jupiter's in Aries. But the problem is that we're overlooking a lot of very important details. Why? Well, because we are in the big picture energy of Aquarius. And we do need to focus on that big picture, but we also have to have the ability to break that big picture down in small, manageable, achievable pieces, which we're not doing well right now. So we're overlooking the smaller details that are going to make up the whole. We are exaggerating our thoughts, exaggerating our feelings. We tend to be a little bit extra, be a little bit dramatic, if you will, with some of the situations going on that really aren't as big of a deal as they appear or as they feel. And this can definitely set us up for some future disappointments. And we are going to have to kind of get knocked off of our high horse in order to come back down to earth and get a little bit more grounded again. But there's not much that we can do about it right now. Everything seems to be a little bit more intense, a little bit bigger than it actually is. So the moon locks into Cancer energy, 9:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the last aspect that we have here today is the moon in Cancer semi-squaring, which is a tension point. It is a conflict point with Uranus, who of course is in Taurus energy. This is, normally Uranus brings us a breakthrough. He brings us an aha moment. He gives us a beautiful download of inspiration in order for us to change our perspective and move in a different way. However, this is a semi-square and this doesn't feel good. And instead of having a breakthrough, we might have a breakdown. And instead of gaining clarity, we may gain a lot more confusion. And instead of being inspired, we may feel more defeated. And this creates a lot of cold emotions. This is kind of clamping us up. We don't want to make any changes, even though we're uncomfortable in the present moment. We're just scared to death. We don't want to make any changes. The moon, again, in Cancer energy, typically speaking, has a huge connection to the past, has a hard time letting go. Uranian energy and Taurus energy, because it's a fixed earth energy, gets in a rut, doesn't like to change. And so the Uranian energy usually tries to zap us, rock us, disrupt us, shock us out of this very heavy rut, out of this comfortability wall, if you will. It ain't happening right now. All this is doing is creating an inner state of chaos where we're not feeling so great, we're not feeling so sure, where we are really confused, where we are very overwhelmed. And this is something that we're going to have to sleep on and sleep off. And hopefully many of us will have a very deep sleep with this water on water energy action. However, pay attention to your dream state if you're lucky enough to have dreams, and pay attention to the energy, the mood, the attitude that you wake up with, because of course we are closing the door on February. We are moving into March. This is bringing a brand new set of life lessons, brand new vibration and frequency. And it's going to be very interesting to wake up and just to see what this water on water action actually does for our intuition, our emotions, and our attitude.